Me and my husband were having a conversation the other day, and my husband said if you really want to break down a man, you'll get to his woman. And what Satan is doing is when he cannot get into the mind of a man because the man has a strong foundation, knows his role, and fears the Lord, and can't be easily moved or swayed, he will get to his woman. He will break down his woman's mind, get her in such a negative headspace, get her to see her husband as the enemy, get her to spew out all her negative thoughts onto her husband, to try to break him down chip by chip. And if he can't get to the woman, he'll get to your friends and your family. So it's important to know how the spiritual realm works and be spiritually guarded always. And this is why it is so important to submit to your husband's leadership when he is following the Lord and to cling to him. He is the pole of that family. Just as a city cannot survive if its gate is open and any outsider can come in, same with you and your mind. If it is just open for any outsider to come in, the enemy will come in.
At these brothers, man, I want to share something with you, man, that's gonna save you a lot of time when it comes to relationships. That's gonna save you a lot of time if you're in deliberation on if a woman should be in your life or out of your life, right? I'm gonna tell you this, brothers. If a woman isn't willing to learn from you, brothers, you must question her motives. If a woman isn't willing to learn from you, brothers, you must give her back to the streets. How copy? Now I want to say this first, man, because before we even had this conversation, because this is a delicate conversation, man, because not most of the times, a lot of times when men have this conversation, a lot of times it's coming from, I think the word is misogynistic. You know, it's coming from, and it might be the wrong word. It's coming from a place where a man is speaking down as if women are less than, right? And honestly, I can tell where a man is mentally when he speaks like that. Like, I'm not saying men shouldn't be head of the household. I'm not saying that men should have a certain spot on the totem pole of the hierarchy. But when it comes to value, when it comes to powers, men and women are the same. And anybody that doesn't know that, like, there's a lot of information I will have to share for you to have to understand that, right? But when I say if she isn't willing to learn from you, let me state my position, right? So again, I see men and women, when it comes to power, when it comes to what people bring to the table, on the same playing field. So when I say that women should be learning from men, I'll equally say this. If a man, I'll say this, us as men, if we have women in our lives that we aren't willing to listen to, we're moving wrong. We're moving wrong. Because women should be always learning from men in this third dimensional plane, and men should always be listening to women in this third dimensional plane. Because going back to the masculine, feminine energy, one dominates the ego or the physical world, one dominates the spiritual world, right? If you have a woman in your life, brother, and you aren't listening to her guidance, hey, don't mess with that, brother. Hey, maybe you should do this with your business. Hey, maybe you should do X, Y, Z. If you have a woman in your life and you aren't listening to her say those things, brother, you moving wrong or you have the wrong woman. Like, people don't understand. This is what I understand people don't understand, right? Men and women. People don't understand that's the check and balance. People don't understand that's the marriage. And that's what makes the union. And I don't want to get off on this. This is a whole nother video. But people don't understand that a woman is looking at a man saying, hey, you know what? I'll say it like this. A lot of women have ideas that they can't execute. A lot of women have ideas that they can't execute, and they used to get on my nerves until I understood. Because they're seeing it from universal mind. And a lot of men have ways to execute, but they can't come up with those ideas. That's the marriage. I need you, you need me. Together, we're a whole force. That's a whole nother video though, right? So when I say a woman must be willing to learn or she must be gotten rid of, brother. You have to understand, first thing I'm saying is this. The first thing I'm saying is we as men have to be in position to be leading. In other words, first off, we as men have to have a vision that we're going towards. We as men have to have a role for women to fit in. But I'm going to tell you, once those things are established, if the woman in that spot is not willing to learn from you, brother, you have to question her motives. You have to question her motives, brothers. Why wouldn't a woman be willing to learn from you? Why wouldn't a woman be willing to learn from a man? I'll give you one reason, brother. It's simply because she doesn't believe in you. You simply hired a woman. You simply brought on a helpmate that doesn't believe in the mission that you're going towards. In other words, let me say it again. You've done everything right. You've gone into solitude. You stepped away from dating for a minute. You've gone your own way. You focused on self, right? You followed the hierarchy. You established your purpose. You created a vision, right? And then you traveled down that path as far as you could. Far as you could. But I'm going to tell you this, for y'all brothers that haven't been there yet. Once you travel down that path and you travel toward that vision, at some point in time, you're going to say, man, like life is good, but there are some challenges, man. Like, oh shit, I need a helpmate. I'm going to tell you, man, it took me 40 something plus years to understand what the role of that woman was supposed to be. At some point when you're going toward your journey, brothers, you're going to say, God dang, I can still make it, but it will be easier if I had somebody on my team. So you bring a woman on your team. So if this woman doesn't believe in you, she's in position, that must mean she don't believe that you can accomplish this goal that you've established. She simply don't believe in you, bro. Think about this from a different standpoint, man. Picture a big company, a large Fortune 500 company hiring somebody. They go through the interview process. Boom, it looks good. They go through the core values, the whole shebang. This is where we're going. Everything looks good. Boom, they're hired on. They're in position. First day at work, they're just working half speed. They're talking. They're taking long lunch breaks. They're talking negative about the company. They aren't really going in 100%. What they're saying is, I don't really believe that this company is really standing on what it says it's standing on. I don't believe in it. A lot of us men have women in our lives that don't believe in our mission. And you can tell they don't believe in the mission because when you give them instructions, they don't want to follow it, bro. They don't want to follow it. If a woman isn't in your life and she's looking for that guidance and she's looking for ways to give back to you, looking for ways to help your mind and help your whatever you have going on evolve, looking at the people in your life, just simply listening to what you have going on and learning from you, learning how to master what you have going on in this third dimensional plane, so she can go back into that spiritual world and give you game. I'm gonna tell you, bro, you have to question her motives. And a lot of times I know brothers say, well, how can a woman give back? Like a woman has to pour into you. A woman has to pour into you. Just like a woman wants a man to pour into her. Hey, support my goals. You know, I like going out to meals. I like dates. And I like, show me that you love me. Show me affection. Give me massages. Pour into me. Right? A man needs that same thing. He needs that same energy poured into him in the way that women pour into, that men pour into women. If she isn't willing to learn that whole shebang of conversation and ways to move, bro, you got to question her motives, bro. And you got to understand this, man. Most women are vibrating right there. Most women, whether you fire up the TikToks, whether you get on the gram, get on the book, get on the tube, this is where, not most, but a lot of women are speaking from. When you hear a woman and all they talk about, all they have to say is, okay, well, a man come in my life, he got to be doing it. He got to be getting my nails did. He got to be da-da-da. And they're speaking from a point of, this man got to be pouring into me. And never talk about how I can pour back into that man. She's not willing to listen to what you have going on. She's not willing to, she's not willing to support you going to the mission. Trust me, bro. She's not willing to do that, man. So when you have this woman in your life, you have to question her motives, bro. You got to give her back to the streets if she's not on that page, right? I'll say the second thing is, man, if she's not willing to listen to you, if she's not willing to learn from what you're teaching her and move in a different way, you have to come to the conclusion that she may be there for the wrong reason, man. She may be there for the wrong reason. And I'll say it like this. A lot of people, a lot of women can talk about relationships. They can talk about it from a healthy place. But when it comes down to it, man, they really don't know what it means to be in a relationship. They really don't know, man. They really don't understand the whole dynamic, the whole balance, the whole listening, learning, from the whole light and dark balance. A lot of times women will be in your life, brothers, simply for something as simple as status. Simply for status, man. Simply just because you drive a certain whip, simply because your belt a little shiny, simply because you got a good job in the corner office, simply because you have a following on social media. A lot of women will come into your life with the wrong motive, bro. And I'm going to tell you, if she isn't willing to learn the game you're giving her and move according to that, you have to question that motive. And when I say status, man, you got to understand this. Like when I say status, a lot of women are running from older versions of themselves. Just like you have a lot of, and I don't know if people still use this term, just like you have a lot of men that move in a funny way. They'll get women in their lives and they call them beards, I believe they used to call back in the days. Like when a man is living a certain lifestyle, right? Y'all get what I'm saying? And he wants to bring a woman in his life to make it look like he's not living that DL lifestyle, right? And I'm not throwing jabs. I really don't care about a man's sexuality, but they call that a beard. A lot of women will get a man in their life to serve as a beard, and not necessarily talking about the sexuality aspect of it, but to cover up her lack of being something or to cover up her past. Like a lot of women, if they had a dark past where they were hopping from stick to stick and doing certain things and just kind of living wild for a long period of time, they'll try to get up under the covering of a man simply because I know if that brother moves a certain way, it'll put a certain light on me. It'll put a certain light on me. I don't really support his mission. Like, hey, that's a beautiful thing, but I'm not here for that. I'm here for this light. I'm here for this energy that comes with being with you. You got to understand, man, a lot of women get in relationships strictly for that. Now, I'm not saying a woman shouldn't get into a man's life for that. But that's icing on the cake. That's an extra benefit, right? If a woman isn't coming to a man's life to support that mission, that status is just, it's the wrong motive, man. And of course, we know a lot of women are in men's life for financial reasons, man. And it might not be that you got bands out the pocket. It might not be that you throwing thousands at her, right? It may just be the fact that her situation is so tight and she knows that if something comes down to it, if her transmission goes out, if her battery goes bad, if she has a blowout, she knows that if push come to shove, you got her. She's there for the wrong reason. And I'm going to tell you this, man, you can identify this, again, if a woman isn't really on page. If a woman isn't really listening to what you're giving her and pouring that back into your mission. Again, you have to question her motives for being there, brothers. And of course, I could talk about energy, man. Like she's there for your energy as far as for the wrong reasons. But to be honest, I'll probably wait on that conversation, man, because that's a much deeper, I might talk about that tomorrow, man. Because that's a whole nother, matter of fact, I saw a sister made a comment on a video early this morning, and she was talking about, hey, my brother, my son or somebody was moving a certain way. and it's gonna spin off. I might use that post for tomorrow, right? But energy is heavy, bro. A woman coming into your life for energetic purposes is heavy, man. It's a whole conversation, man. But what I'm getting down to, bro, is again, man, like understanding the dynamic and the power of a relationship, man. A woman must be willing to learn, man. She has to be willing to learn from you just as much as we have to be willing to listen to the guidance they're receiving. And I'll say this. I'll go outside and say this, man. It's not that, I'll say it like this. It's not that a lot of women don't even want to be in a man's life and be that helpmate. Sometimes it's not that, man. A lot of times what we're doing as men is choosing women that are incapable of assisting us in fulfilling that mission. I'm gonna say it again, bro. I'm gonna say it again, man, because a lot of us men will choose women for the wrong reasons. A lot of us men will choose women for the aesthetics as opposed to the attributes that she brings to the table that can assist your mission. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times these women are incapable of fulfilling. And I'm not saying that there's wrong with that. She's probably good for some other guy with maybe a smaller vision or no vision. But a lot of times the women we bring in our lives, it's not even that they don't want to listen. They're incapable of receiving what we're giving them and reciprocating that same energy to grow. In other words, a lot of women talk about, what's that Beyonce song, man? Upgraded. A lot of women want to be upgraded, but they aren't. That's a whole nother video. This should be a video by itself. A lot of women want to be upgraded, but they don't really understand what that means. Or they aren't really built for the upgrade they're asking for. Upgrading takes work. Like upgrading takes work. You know what I'm saying? And when I say work, again, as above, so below, as within, so without, polar opposites. When you talk about a man putting in work, I'm not saying a woman's work looks the same as a man's, but a woman has to match your effort in her own realm, if that makes sense. A woman has to match your efforts in her own realm. And I'm gonna tell you this, man. I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, bro. A lot of women are lazy as fuck. Bottom line. A lot of women are lazy. And to be honest, it's because a lot of women are, I'll say it like this. It's because a lot of women are trying to move in the energy as men. You know what it comes down to, bro? A lot of women don't understand what it means to be a woman. And I'm not pointing the blame at anybody because I don't know where that came from. I hear a few women speaking to that. You know, shout out to Anita over at Better Love Movement. She speaks about women sitting in that energy. So when I'm talking about work, a lot of women don't understand that when they want to get with a man that's upgrading, that's moving, according to his vision and purpose, that means she has to do something too. She has to do that spiritual work. And a lot of women are lazy when it comes to that. And I don't know if it's because they don't know what that means. I don't know what it is. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. I'm gonna tell you this. And somebody said this on a video a few days ago. Saying you must be willing to teach that woman that thing. I agree 1,000%. Comes to the whole conclusion of what I'm saying. If a woman isn't willing to learn from you, but because men like we dominate this physical realm. So if a woman is coming in your life and she wants to be on board, but she isn't willing to listen to you say, hey, you know what? This is how you should move. This is what you have to look out for. This is why I don't want you doing X, Y, Z. This is why we need to do this. Because of this. If she isn't listening to that, saying, you know what, it's going against what I know, but I trust your leadership. I trust your guidance. I'm going to follow these instructions. And I know saying words like that, man, crushes a lot of women. Like, oh no, but it's a real thing. If a woman has chosen a man, she's chosen a man, and she is willing to follow his instructions, you have to question her motives, bro.
Listen, a man who is trying to teach his woman loves his woman. That's their form of love. They are natural teachers. They want to guide. They want to lead. They want to make sure that you are safe and you are mentally prepared for any enemy that is coming at you. Okay? So a lot of women are taking their criticism or taking their direction as a personal attack, when really it's their form of love. Men typically, from my experience, are analyzers. They analyze a person, especially the person they're with. They see your frame of thinking, they see where your weaknesses are, and they want to strengthen you. I'll go even further. When a man cares about a woman, he wants to protect her. And so knowing how vulnerable she is to potential dangers, to the enemy, to predators, to threats out in the world, he is going to analyze her critical thinking and her mind frame. And if he sees flaws in it, he sees that you are naive in certain areas, he is going to want to fix that. He's going to want to teach you. He's going to want to make you stronger, more mentally aware, so that you're not a target for dangerous people and entities in the world. Okay? That's a good man. And that's one of the deepest forms of love.